Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Godsal's Turnbuckle. And it is that time once again for some more predictions here on the channel. And we will be going with AEW Revolution 2025. As of right now, we have 10 matches on the card. I assume there's going to be a few other pre-show matches that do show up on there. A matter of fact, maybe one of these will be on the pre-show itself. Not necessarily certain, but as of right now, there are 10 matches announced. And going ahead and starting off real quick, we do have a six-man tag. More than likely, I feel like it'll be a pre-show match. It will be Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Big Boom AJ going up against Johnny TV and MXM Collection. I feel like this is a pretty simple match. A lot of this has been happening on Collision as of late, and you did see something between MXM Collection and Big Boom AJ, where I believe they interrupt them, or I believe it was Johnny TV. I forget exactly which one did that. Kind of setting up this match when Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe kind of helped him out with this one. Like I said, I don't feel like there's too much really to this match, and I do feel like it's a pretty simple one, that it would be Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Big Boom AJ picking up the victory for this. It could be a fun little match to watch, but I really don't feel like the result is in question for this one. And up next, it will be for the number one contendership to the world title. It will be Swerve Strickland going up against Ricochet. And honestly, I've really been liking where this feud has been going. The whole aspect of the robe that Ricochet stole from Swerve, that was Prince Nana's. And maybe we're going to see some kind of modification done to that this week, because he did say that it was off getting some form of modification. And just the whole aspect, ever since Swerve embarrassed Ricochet at World's End, Ricochet's pretty much gotten one up on Swerve in some way, shape, or form, whether it's busting him open with the scissors, or winning the first match, or even after getting himself attacked by by a scissor attack. Swerve hitting with scissors on Dynamite later in the night, picking up a victory in the tag match with him and Okada going up against Swerve and Brody King. Honestly, this has been really well done. I do feel like with the way everything has been going at this point, Ricochet has kind of gotten the upper hand this entire time. And unless they're really going to continue on with that, and that's going to be the storyline further down the line, I feel like Swerve's going to pick up this one, because I do feel like they're going to have him going back into the world title picture at some point in time, and this will be a good way of getting that going. So I'm going to be going with Swerve Strickland. And now we have the Continental Championship match. We do have Kazuchika Okada going up against Brody King, and this has been an interesting one. This, I believe, has been playing out more on Collision than anything at this point in time for this particular match. And it's going to be, honestly, it's just going to be a fun match. I don't feel like the result is in question in this particular case, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how this match plays out. I do like the whole aspect that it's, 20-minute time limit and everything in that sense, so it is a different style of match that will be seen on this particular pay-per-view. But again, I don't feel like the result is in question here. I do feel like Okada is going to be picking up the victory in this one. I do see the fact that Brody King is very popular with a lot of the AEW fans at this point, so it's going to make me wonder if they're going to do something more with him down the line. But I don't necessarily see them putting him over Okada at this point. So I feel like Okada is going to keep that championship. And up next, we have MJF going up against Hangman Adam Page. And oh boy, this story that they've been going with. I do feel like this is just the beginning of their story, and it's always going to be interesting to see how the beginnings of it usually plays out, at least with the first match. I know this kind of ties back into the first Dynamite Diamond Ring match back when AEW just began over 5 years ago. But this is kind of their first time in an extended feud, and the whole aspect of both of these guys are rather insecure with themselves is very much in play for both people in this one. You know, MJF like having the insecurity that, you know, the fans are beginning to like Hangman again, even though after everything he's done wrong. And of course, MJF being MJF to go along with that. And then Hangman kind of playing into his own insecurities, whether or not he feels like he can actually, like he can actually be embraced by the fans again to its own degree, or even kind of go back to what he was even just a little bit before his feud with Swerve Strickland. It's gonna be a very interesting one on this. I'm gonna go with Hangman Adam Page to pick up the victory on this. I don't feel like this is gonna be the only match between the two of them, so I wouldn't be shocked if MJF picks up the victory, but I do feel like Hangman hasn't had a lot of wins recently, so I'm gonna go with Hangman Adam Page for this. And up next, it will be for the AEW Tag Team Championships. It will be the Hurt Syndicate going up against the Outrunners. And, you know, this I feel like is gonna be a fun match, though I do feel like they're pulling the trigger a little bit late on having the Outrunners getting a title match at this point. I do feel like they probably should have had some form of a title match well beforehand, a little bit more when their popularity was even higher than where it's at, because typically we do see them strictly on Collision at this point. You don't see them too much on Dynamite, though in fairness, Collision has been a much better show this year than it had been in the past, though. Again, I don't feel like this is going to be a spot where you're going to be changing those tag team titles, not with the way that they've had the Hurt Syndicate be at this point in time. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty simple one here. I'm going to go with the Hurt Syndicate to pick up the victory. It's just going to be a matter of whether it's not it's going to be one of those extended squash matches that we've been kind of seeing with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, or if it's going to be a more 50-50 or more evenly styled match. But either way, the Hurt Syndicate's been entertaining to go along with everything, especially with how their matches have gone and how they won the tag titles, how they've been keeping the tag titles. I've been enjoying everything here, so yeah, it's got to be the Hurt Syndicate for this. And up next, we have the TBS Championship match. It is going to be Mercedes Mone versus Momo Watanabe. And obviously, they have not done too much in terms of building this on TV. As of this recording, Momo Watanabe is going to be having a match with Serena Deeb on Collision leading into this particular match. You have had a few backstage interactions between the two of them as well. A lot of this kind of came about with everything where Watanabe won a fatal four-way at Wrestle Kingdom to get, or not Wrestle Kingdom, but I believe that was Wrestle Dynasty, and in Japan, to gain a title match against anybody they wanted. This continued into Grand Slam right after Mercedes' match with Harley Cameron. I don't feel like the result is in question on this one. I'm going to go with Mercedes Moné for this, though I'm hoping to see a really good match out of this one. And up next, we have a steel cage match. It is going to be Will Ospreay going up against Kyle Fletcher. And oh boy, this is probably going to be a really good one. But then again, it is a Will Ospreay match, and if it's anything like their first match between the two of them, you're probably gonna understand where that one's gonna end out going and how the match is gonna kind of play out, at least in terms of the in-ring action itself. The story going into this has been relatively good to go along with that as well. You do have everything from their setup from the tag team match where Ospreay and Omega teamed up against Takeshita and Fletcher, and Yeah, this is just going to be a really good match. I'm now, since Kyle Fletcher did pick up the victory in the first match between him and Will Ospreay, or at least the first match up in the main portion of the feud, there was that really good matchup between the two of them when they were still both part of the Don Callis family. But since the feud kind of began, Kyle Fletcher's had the upper hand outside of the tag team match. So I feel like in terms of a one-on-one situation here, I'm going to go with Will Ospreay to pick up the victory, because I feel like they're going to be putting him in some form of a title picture somewhere down the line, whether it's for the world title or international title, we don't necessarily know. But I feel like they are going to have Will Ospreay pick up the victory on this one, because he does probably need a bigger win at this point. So, like I said, my pick's going to be Will Ospreay. And up next, it is going to be for the AEW International Championship. It's going to be Konosuke Takeshita going up against Kenny Omega. And oh boy on this one. Now, we had that time frame before Kenny went out with his illness, where you had Takeshita beat him twice within 7 days, back at All In and All Out in 2022, or not 2022, 2023, for that one. And again, those matches were really good. I expect this to be a really good one as well. They've been also setting this whole thing up ever since Kenny Omega's come back in, that he was going after Takeshita, and basically the Don Callis family as well, which has kind of led to his teaming up with Will Ospreay, even though they have been rivals themselves down the line, or in the past, basically. And yeah, like Takeshi's, again, outside of the tag team match, though Fletcher was the one who did get pinned in that particular match, Takeshi's kind of always had one over on Omega in any of the other matches that they've really had together. I do feel like that's going to change here. I'm going to go with Kenny Omega to pick up the international title for this one. Again, much like Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, I expect this to be a really good match. Honestly, a lot of these matches on this card are looking like they'll be really good to go along with it as well. So really looking forward to this one. And up next, it will be for the AEW Women's Championship, and I believe they're calling it a Hollywood ending as well. It's going to be Timeless Toni Storm going up against Mariah May. And to say that Mariah May and the Timeless Toni Storm storyline has probably been the best women's feud and story that they have told in AEW since its inception would probably be an understatement. Everything everything that they've kind of done with everything setting up for their All-In match to begin with, coming to the grants, after Mariah May picked up that victory, and then Toni Storm went away for a while, came back as a rookie, but basically fooled everyone, they played it off as her fooling everyone, and she was really timeless the entire time, to the Grand Slam match, all the way down to that, I won't say crazy, but that just awesome promo between Mariah May and Toni Storm in the sit down in the on Dynamite to go along with that as well. Just has been probably their best women's story that they've told so far. It's gone from Mariah May basically being the one that was in Toni Storm's head, to now Toni Storm being in Mariah May's head, and Mariah May is kind of losing it to go along with it at this point. Now, they did just change the title to Toni Storm at Grand Slam. I don't think they're going to change this. They're going to go ahead and change the title again so quickly on this one. I'm going to go with Toni Storm in this particular match. But there is a good case, even though I'm not doing this one last, there is a good case for this match actually being the main event. Just based off of everything that they've done. Though they do typically go with the AEW World Title to be the main event of the show, which they may just do in this one. But there is a good case for this to be the main event of the show. We'll see what ends up happening on Sunday when they do the pay-per-view. But this is probably going to be a really good match. And up next, it is going to be for the AEW World Championship. More than likely, what I still think will be the main event of the night. But again, I may mention Toni Storm and Mariah may be the ones that actually main event. Who knows? But it will be Jon Moxley going up against Adam Copeland. I am going to call him Adam Copeland. I know he is being called Cope on TV, but that just still sounds weird. that still sounds weird to me. Now, the whole aspect that they've been doing, setting up Copeland for getting rid of the rest of the Death Riders has actually been very nice, or I won't say very nice, but they've done it in a good way where he's taken out Pac and Claudio Castagnoli with concertos, and then Willow Nightingale actually helped out with that and took out Marina Shafir with a concerto of her own. And then he had a match with Wheeler Yuta where he did just win the match, and he didn't necessarily take out Wheeler Yuta. He got him back up, showed him respect, shaking his hand, which caused him to walk out on Jon Moxley when Moxley got pissed off at that to go along with it. So it's playing up to the factor that Moxley's on his own. Nobody's going to be around him. The Death Riders aren't going to be around him for this match. And then you do have the whole aspect of Jay White in there as well, where he's really playing up that he's buddy-buddy with Adam Copeland, which makes me think that, yeah, he's turning on him, at least at some point, if not at the pay-per-view itself. I also do feel like that maybe the whole walkout portion of Wheeler Yuta and Jon Moxley may be a thing where they're trying to tell a little bit more of Wheeler Yuta still not really with the Death Riders, or it might just be a whole swerve on that one where, nope, he's just making it look like he's not going to be with them. But either way, with however it ends out going, I'm going to go with Jon Moxley to pick up the victory on this one. I don't feel like we're going to get a Christian cash in of his world title contract for this. So that is up in the air. If, say, Copeland wins the world title, maybe you get a Christian cash in after the fact. But honestly, I feel like Jon Moxley is going to be the one picking up the victory in this one. And that is pretty much it for the predictions and the matches that we do have. Like I said, this looks like it's going to be a really good card and a lot of fun to watch. Revolution's always really been a good watch, and this one doesn't feel like it's going to be any different to go along with that. If you did like everything over here, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you so wish as well. We will be doing predictions pretty much for the big WWE and AEW shows. There is a possibility that maybe I do sit down and do a live reaction again here soon. I'm not necessarily 100% on that, but yeah. If you do also, if you do want to leave your own predictions down in the comments below, feel free to do so to go along with that. And with that being said, I hope you all take care. Let me redo that for you. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great rest of your day.